Hey y'all, welcome back. Wanted to walk you through a little project we're doing on the 55, and that is to swap the front springs, the old tired springs that have also been modified. They've been cut, so just replacing those with a stock spring, and then going to add a front sway bar. So I've done the swap of the spring, so I just wanted to show you a few tips and how I did this. First of all, I raised the car up, took the wheel off, and then pulled the shock, which is right here. So 2 bolts on the bottom and then 1 on the top. And you need that out of the way because it'll only extend so far. And this lower control arm bends down or rotates down quite a ways, like almost to 90 degrees from where it's at. So that is required to get that spring up in there. Also, I took this bumper off so that when you're putting the new spring back in, it's not in the way and you can actually get that to fit. So it's 1 nut there, just take that off. That makes the job easier. I have a jack underneath the control arm after I got the spring in there started, which was kind of a wrestling match to get it to pop up into the back side there, and then you can start jacking that up, rotating up the lower control arm. And then once you get it up high enough, I guess I forgot to mention, this is the only bolt I took out, only nut I took off to release the spindle. And that was after I took off the brake caliper, because this brake line is only so long. I happen to have disc brakes on here, but yeah, so if you take this caliper loose by these 2 gold bolts, one's missing, you take that out of the way. You don't have to take anything else apart, just the 1 upper nut for the spindle, and this will all rotate around and give you enough clearance. So I got it back together. You can see I got the nut and the cotter pin in there, and tightened up so that I could pull the jack out. Now I'm going to put the shock back in there and we'll be done. Ready for the other side, and then I'll come back and show you how the sway bar goes in. Alright, if you can see underneath this car, you'll notice we got no sway bar hooked to those lower control arms, but we're going to. Here is the sway bar all kind of mocked up. Got all the bolts, everything basically on top of this bracket. So the lowest thing on this whole install is going to be that bracket hooked to the control arm. And these guys will be bolted up to the frame. Same on that side. So you can sort of envision with this drop in the middle where that goes up in here, but I'll point out they're going to drill into the lower control arm, the frame right about here, and same over here, and then it'll drop underneath this part. Basically try and keep the sway bar level with the ground. And so I'll have to put this car down on the ground to get the control arms more level before I set up to drill that. Those will all just be through holes with bolts and nuts. So we'll get going, I'll show you. Okay, we've got the sway bar loose fit into place, and I Just want to show you before I tighten it all up. But I kind of set it in place and used a jack with a piece of wood to help hold the middle, and then some other little blocks of wood to hold up one of the sides. I got it centered like side to side so I could pick a hole location for those L brackets. And then based on that, I made sure that these other brackets would line up right with the frame, and that was kind of close. You can see on the back portion it's got close to the edge, and the same over here, but in the front it's more toward the middle, and I was trying to avoid this other frame piece that comes right along here. So I tried to spread those two bushing brackets out as far as I could to meet the frame. So this sway bar is a little bit narrow, I would say. Be nice if it was a little wider. But in any case, it did work, and I like to loose fit everything before I tighten it down, so I make sure it all the bolts will make it in all the holes if it's a big assembly. So yeah, we're gonna tighten it all up and then set her down, take her for a test ride. Hey guys, so just to finish up on this sway bar installation job, I took the 55 out for a cruise, and man, that was a noticeable difference. I was so happy with how that turned out. The steering is much improved. It's just manual, no power, but the body roll is significantly improved, and the springs now being replaced are stock height, so there's no incidental rubbing on extreme gutters or corners. So that's a big improvement. I'm really happy with how that turned out. And yeah, so if you have questions or comments, please leave them on this video. We'll just keep on making more, and hopefully they can be of some value to you sometime. All right, thanks. Later.